Hey guys, Adam here with AmericanTrucks.com, and today we're taking a closer look at and installing the Barricade hardcover tonneau cover available for the 09 to 18 Ram 1500. This particular tonneau cover is the perfect option for the guys out there looking for a somewhat budget-friendly hard top and tri-folding tonneau cover. Now, some of the more traditional ones in the market will be a roll-up. This takes it one step farther and is a tri-fold, which is a little bit more secure in my personal opinion, a little easier to use, and it looks a lot sleeker when installed. Being a hardtop cover just gives you two added things. Number one is going to be durability and security, and number two is going to give you a longer lasting cover. With that aluminum frame underneath of it, you know that you have that durable security. It's not something someone can break into, or it's not something that will rip as easily because it has that sturdy frame underneath of it, but it's also got on top a textured TPO material as opposed to some vinyl options. This will last a little bit longer, has a leather grained look to it, a really smooth finish, and somewhat of a low profile design. Now, I have seen other ones in the category act as a little bit lower profile. This one sticks up a bit more, but because it is a hard folding option, it's all for a good reason. Trifolds give you access to your bed in sections, which is always good for the guys out there who don't need to open it up all the way every single time, which a roll-up cover would require you to do. This you can pop back, and it has straps that you can strap back to those clips underneath of your windshield if you wanted to drive with it open. The only downside I will say to a trifold such as this one is it doesn't give you complete access to the entire bed. If you were trying to pull in something a lot larger like a big motorcycle, or if you're pulling in bigger furniture like a couch, this wouldn't be able to fold upward again onto the top windshield like some of the other options would. There are some out there that completely fold open to give you access to the whole bed with a trifold option, but this isn't going to be one of them. Those would cost a little bit more money, as that is a little bit more of a bell and whistle kind of thing. This, however, does come with those aluminum frames like I mentioned, the trifold design, and it also comes with a few extra goodies like weather stripping. Weather stripping is always a huge plus and necessity when it comes to tonneau covers, making sure that your cargo is safe and secure from all wet weather conditions. If it rains or if it snows, like us here on the East Coast have to deal with, that weather stripping will come in handy to make sure it has a leak-free finish. Comes with weather stripping to go all around the edging of your tailgate. As you know, that tailgate has a little bit of a gap between the gate itself and the body of the truck, which leaves it a little more susceptible to leaks, which is where that weather stripping comes into play, and I'll show you guys how to apply that in just a little bit. This one in particular comes in right around 550 bucks. It's kind of the midway point as far as tonneau covers. There are some upwards of $1,000 with all bells and whistles as premium options, and there are some that are more affordable as like 200, 250 bucks, which are really those simpler options that aren't gonna be the hard top tonneau cover. It'll be a soft top. Some of them are trifolds, but some of them, if not most of them, are roll-ups, which might not fit your personal preference if you're looking for something a little bit more premium like this one. If you wanted to get this particular option, you can do so for about 550 bucks, and the install 1 out of 3 wrenches on our difficulty meter. It's a really simple drop on. You're not installing separate bed rails like some of the more budget friendly options would require. This one drops right on, clamps on both sides, unfolds back to the tailgate and clamps again. Very simple stuff. And the adhesive on the back of the weather stripping that will apply separately is extremely easy to use. There's no cutting or none of that nonsense. The only other thing I will mention, some guys out there with aftermarket bed liners that wrap around the inside of the lips on the side bed, those will need to be trimmed with like a box cutter or some sort of knife. Not that big of a deal, definitely can be done by anybody who has a sharp enough knife, honestly, but it is something to keep in mind. Our particular 14 Ram 1500 that we're working on today did not require that. I'll show you guys that install, but I'll point out where that would happen if you do need to tackle that. Other than that, really simple stuff. Hand tools aren't really required unless you do have to do that cutting. And the only other thing I'd recommend is cleaning off the bed on the side bed rails, top of the tailgate, and maybe even the inside with some soap and water. Alcohol wipes are provided in the kit to clean off the area you're applying that weather stripping to. With all that said, I want to take you guys through every step of the process, so let's get to it. Guys, the first step is to grab your tonneau cover right out of the box, and it's folded up just like you see here, strapped down. You're going to leave it just like that, no need to unfold it just yet. We're going to grab it just as it is and lay it right across the top of our bulkhead, lining it up to where we want it to be, unfolding it all the way back to the tailgate, making sure it's in a good position. Once you find out exactly where you want it to be, carefully fold it back up without shifting its position, and we'll start clamping it down. That looks pretty good. We're gonna fold this right back up, trying not to move its position. Perfect. Head underneath and use those clamps to attach it to the side bed rails. Next step is to pull down the latch clamp and twist it all the way up so it lines up with this clamp portion. Now that is going to hug the inside of the bed rail on your Ram 1500. Just twist this up by hand and it'll clamp down. Now they recommend if you have an excessively large bed liner, something that covers and wraps around the lip of your factory metal portion of the bed, they say grab a box cutter of some sort and cut a notch out that this will clamp to, but ours doesn't wrap all the way around, so that's not necessary. Just get this nice and tight around that bed and move on to the other side. Now we can unfold the tonneau cover once more. Now for the rest of this, we can do it from outside of the truck. We're gonna unfold this the second time, and finally the third time. And this is where you can start to see these clamps come into play. Those will be what you're gonna unlatch the first time you wanna start unfolding your hardtop tonneau cover. Now that we have this down, pull that latch down so it hangs down, push it toward the bed rail, fold it up, and push it down to clamp. Now the problem with this is it's really loose from the factory. So undo it and straighten it out. You can give it a good couple of twists and it'll start pushing this latch upward so that you have more tension on it when it closes. Unlatch it, do it again, just a little bit more and it'll be ready. This is all your personal judgment. There's no correct amount of turning that you'll need to do. It's just whatever you think feels best. That feels pretty tight. You do the same thing on the other side. Well guys, that's gonna wrap up my review and install of the Barricade hard folding tri-fold tonneau cover available for the 09 to 18 Ram 1500. If you wanted to get this particular option, you can do so right here at AmericanTrucks.com.